Hello, happy Monday, everybody. I really hope I don't have audio issues tonight. That was super fun last week. Alrighty, let us start this countdown. I will see you all in 30 seconds. Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? It is Monday. That was quite the episode. Let me know that you can hear me because last week was a hot mess and that was embarrassing. Love from SoCal. Where in Southern California are you? I am from the San Fernando Valley. So, hey, I'm from the 818. All right. Husband says we are good to go. We can hear you. This is 35 we're starting out good. San Dimas, Raging Waters. Yes, I went to Cal State Fullerton, so I used to drive past San Dimas all the time. Pismo Beach, that reminds me of Cher from Clueless when she's raising money for the Pismo Beach disaster relief. Bill and Ted. Why is no one talking about Cody making his family motto the same as QAnon, where we go on one, we go all? Yeah, I have seen that correlation noticed and talked about, and I don't think that is a mistake. I'm loud and clear in Utah. I'm sorry, Utah. Okay, San Dimas. Chicago living, Illinois born. I went to Chicago area. I would have to ask my husband where. It was like a suburb of Chicago for a wedding in October of 2018. And it gets chilly. And that's not even as cold as it gets. But I was like, ooh. All right. New York City in the house. Yes, another New Yorker in the house. Loud and clear here in Winnipeg. Yes. So one of the things, and I think I forgot to mention it last week, but it was from last week's episode where Robin, and they opened up this episode 6 with it. They kind of recap Robin at the graduation party for Isabel saying, I don't get why people can't be happy with this. Let me see her. Oh, she says, how does this not work for everybody? Really, Robin? And that is what sets the tone for this episode. And I thought that was really excellent foreshadowing for what's to come. Oh, I love seeing everywhere you guys are coming in from. Amazing. So this episode is titled Telling Truly. And hold on one second. It's all about Truly being the only person in the family that does not know that Cody and Christine are separating, divorcing, and that not only that, but that Christine is moving to Utah. Now, in the last episode, we had Robin tell us when she was in an interview at the graduation party that she has already told all of her kids. So Saul and Ari, who are younger than Truly, know. Presumably all the other kids know. It seems kind of like crappy that truly is the last to know. And I get where Christine is coming from, because you want to protect your kid and protect their, stability and sense of safety. And, Cody obviously does no favors, but and I get that Christine wanted to have that conversation together. I think, one, in order to not to put on that united front, like, not that I like Christine is the angel, Cody's the villain, like, we're doing this together, but also so that they could kind of lean on each other to kind of carry that burden from Truly. Terrible everyone knew before Truly. I agree. Cody needs to get help. Yeah. Cody is beyond help at this point. So I actually was just listening to the Surviving Sister Wives podcast, and they had a voicemail. So one of their, I guess, a feature of their Patreon is that you can leave them voicemails. I think that's super cool, by the way. And they played it, and one of their listeners had said that they think, and I actually super agree with their point, they think that part of the reason why Christine is so endeared to us all, why we root for her so hard, is because Cody is such a good villain. He's so easy to hate. He's easy to just say, like, I mean, because it's beyond reason. There's nobody that I have seen in my comments or on social media that goes, oh, well, you know what? Actually, Cody had a point there. Like, it just universally criticized, judged, hated, I don't know, whatever word you want to use. And I think that was accurate. Like, you need, or it seems like TLC has made it so that Cody is as equally a super villain to Christine's, like, superhero of this season. And I think that is a good point. So did Cody I'm tripping over my words. So Cody expected Truly come over for a few days, like she said he would, and have Saul and Ari tell Truly by accident. Exactly. Exactly. And what exactly is the reason why Cody doesn't want Truly to know? Because, and hold on, let me find my note about that. He says he doesn't want to tell Truly. He wants to find a way to convince Christine to stay in Flagstaff. But Christine has literally said that part of the reason why she hasn't told Truly yet is because life is no different for Truly. The only reason why Christine is telling Truly is because they're moving. Like, that is going to be something she cannot avoid it any longer. But if she stayed in Flagstaff, she could conceivably not tell Truly they were separating, because life would not be different for Truly. And that is so sad. I think Cody is being hyped up by the producers. I think he is being encouraged by the producers to, obviously, they know how to get what they need. So, they know what to say to Cody to elicit the kind of answer that they want. So absolutely, I think that he is being hyped up by the producers. I also think that production are just letting all the true colors out there. It is what it is. Robin saying, how could this not work for everyone? Ma'am, what? What? Your kids cannot go 2 or 3 days without seeing Cody, but you are wondering why your kids not being able to see Cody, that needing to see him every 2 or 3 days, isn't working for his other 15 or 13 kids? Please, please. And Christine says early on in the episode that the worst thing for her would be for Truly to accidentally find out, which is what happens. And that's so sad that it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Christine just wanted to rip the Band-Aid. Let's have this conversation. Let's move towards co-parenting. Let's separate ourselves. But Cody is just being needlessly cruel at this point, in my opinion. He still hasn't moved all of his stuff out. She's like, oh, you took a couple boxes, even though we saw Robin's house filled with boxes. So if only some of that, or if he still has more at Christine's house, it's like, how much junk? Because it has to be just junk at this point. Does Cody have? He has 4 households worth of crap. This is a good question. The real question is, does Truly ever get her own room in the mansion? And I'm going to reference it again because I literally was just listening to it. But on the Surviving Sister Wives podcast, they pondered, like, I hope Truly gets her own room and not have to sleep on a sleeping bag in the kitchen or something like that. I mean, what? Robin has 6 rooms in that house. And I guess even if every kid, I mean, she could share a room with Ari. I don't know if that's allowed, but she could share a room with Ari. Okay, restart your feed, girl. It doesn't work for everyone because Robin isn't having the same experience as everyone else. Exactly. Truly will be 4 hours away from Flagstaff and school age. He will get at best weekend visitation and a few weeks in the summer. Also, it was like we were witnessing this dawning on Cody for the first time when he's like, why haven't I had Truly over at my house all this time? Well, because you're not allowing your other kids to come over. So how are you going to have 50-50 custody? We've been talking about this for a few weeks now. If your kids aren't allowed at your house. Christine asked for Truly to have her own room. Yeah. The fact that Robin and Cody both said if Truly visits him, it will be at Robin's and that they will get her a bed seems like they are acting like a monogamous couple. They are. And it really was the first time that it seemed to me that Robin was talking about step parenting. She, in my opinion, and maybe I will admit it's completely biased opinion because not a fan of Robin. But it just seems that Robin is like that one person in the group project that didn't do anything, but then sneaks in and takes all the credit at the end. Like, McKelty's sitting there giving birth and she's like, oh my God, me and McKelty are so close. Nobody likes to see their baby in pain. McKelty's like my own baby. Robin, you did not do a single thing to raise McKelty and you used her for child labor. So I don't know. Did Cody ever take Truly for overnight visits? I don't think so. Everything that I have seen of has been Christine returning to Flagstaff. Now we know that's obviously like for filming, but I have not heard of Cody being out to visit Utah. I actually, now that I said that, there was a photo posted on Reddit, I think like a month or so ago, of him spotted in Utah at a Costco. So maybe. The most infuriating part of this episode for me was the way Cody went on and on about how much better Robin's house is than Janelle's RV, with so much goofy oblivion to the implications of that. Yes. And speaking of that exact conversation, 2 episodes ago when Janelle announces that she bought the 5th wheel, Cody was like, oh my gosh, like I hated living here at Janelle's house. not, maybe it's not ideal, the circumstances of living in this fifth wheel, but at least they'll be able to exit my front door and be on my property. He was so jazzed. And then now it's, I shouldn't be made to suffer because of Christine's decisions. And, like this place is so small. And it's like he completely 180'd, like Janelle called out, because he's had time for Robin to chirp chirp in his ear about it. If Truly lives with Cody 3 to 4 days each week, that makes a great case for 50-50 custody. It would make it harder for Christine to take Truly out of state. Yeah, it would just logistically, it would be a nightmare. Truly is in in-person school. Usually when parents separate, they try to come to some sort of custody schedule that fits around a child's like school schedule, etc., things like that. Doesn't always work out. Parents don't always agree, but typically that is what good parents strive for. Also, I heard referenced on the Surviving Sister Wives podcast, and I hadn't taken this into consideration. Cody is just adding to the nanny's workload then, right? Like, is the nanny going to get a raise because now there's another child in the mix? Cody was so mean about Janelle's fifth wheel. She brought money in, yet Robin lives in the mansion because Janelle cares about the finances. Make this make sense. Speaking of bringing in the finances, Cody has been so icy and vindictive and resentful towards Meri for years, but especially since the catfish episode. There has not been any warm fuzzies between them for years. Now, all of a sudden, when Robin says last season that Cody has left a door open for Meri, presumably if Meri just, stays in her lane and knows her place, now all of a sudden Cody has a fondness for Meri. They're not, intimate, don't get it twisted, but he might high five her every once in a while, and maybe he'll up his quarterly phone calls to twice a quarter. Who knows? But I did notice that I was like, now that someone is pissing him off more than Meri, suddenly Meri has risen in favor. Cody needs to pay child support. We have no clue. Well, we can speculate and make educated guesses on to how finances go for the Browns. But I don't think I agree Cody should be paying child support, but I don't think he ever would. And I don't think Christine would. I think Christine would see that as maybe being vindictive in a way, even though it's not. It's absolutely not. But I don't think she would pursue that. Also, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I have heard he is not on the birth certificates. So he really doesn't have a legal leg to stand on as far as going after custody, which, on the other hand, means that Christine might not have much of a legal leg to stand on if it came to going after child support. So I am not a legal expert. I just watch Dateline, but so I don't know if how true that is. Cody offered Christine the pantry. That was his way of offering child support. Yeah, and as someone, okay, so I have a like really big pantry now. It's not like a whole ass room like they have, but it's pretty decent sized. And, my like first inclination from like my family of 3 was to fill it up, I have all this space, I got to fill it. I'm so used to living in apartments where part of my cabinet became my pantry. So I had to like sacrifice cabinet space for pantry. So I never had the ability to store that much food. And my husband, we've lived in our house for a couple years now. And my husband went through the pantry the other day and just did a clean sweep checking expiration dates and threw away a ton of expired like mac and cheese, stuff like that. And it was like, how are you buying that much food? Like that food is gonna go bad. So do you have a food storage like area full of expired food? Because like it is good for a long time, but if you don't use it, it's going to go bad, and then you just have a bunch of expired food. Pasta doesn't expire. Oh, good to know. There were expiration dates on the Kraft mac and cheese, and I didn't want to risk it, but good to know. Oh, truly will be the basement kid. I mean, she already was, right? I mean, he knows that Saul is 10, and here he is thinking that Truly is 10. At this point in the show, we know that they're older than that now. But he's thinking that Truly and Saul are the same age, and he can't stay away from Saul for 2 or 3 days, and but he can like never see Truly. I love that Christine is like, no, keep the pantry. I'm not moving it to Utah. I really liked that. What did Christine say? She said, I no longer like subscribe or believe in the Mormon faith, the AUB. I do not want any part of this food pantry because I am no longer going to live in fear. I thought that that was quite an interesting statement to make. Okay. Dry pasta does expire. I mean, everything eventually expires. Even water has expiration dates on it. Now, I would much rather drink a bottle of expired water than I would, I don't know, an expired milk. Robin bagging on trailers, infuriated me. Where would she be living without the Browns? And it's a nice trailer. I'm telling you guys, the apartments that I have lived in have been smaller and have been much. One apartment I lived in New York had no counters. We had a sink and cabinets, and we had nowhere to like prepare food. I had to buy like a almost like a bar cart, but it didn't have anywhere to like store liquor. It was just kind of like a rolling shelf. So I had somewhere to prepare food. Like this was a nice living situation. And I've said many times, I am not a camper. It's not my thing, not my jam. I can appreciate that people love it. But this, and I get that you guys have rightfully called out that this is not camping or roughing it or anything like that, but I could do this. I could do this. Mormons rotate their food out and the new stuff in the back. Oh, FIFO. I worked at Panera in college, so like first in, first out. I get that. I loved my travel trailer. I've heard a lot of people, you guys have been giving me your feedback that you have had excellent experiences living in fifth wheels or trailers, traveling. It seems awesome. And I would absolutely, if it meant not, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know how much money did Janelle save, because I have no concept of how much these fifth wheels cost, but I'm assuming they're a good amount of money. So she bought this. Not sure if she's financing it or if she bought it outright, but how much is she saving in rent? So now that she can funnel all her resources to building, that this was quite the expense. And now she has to pay for generators, pay for portable septic. I don't even know how that works. Water, things like that. So all of that is a huge expense as well. So I'm just wondering how much money she is really saving. Victoria says she didn't save a lot of money. I'm guessing that it was more so I think Janelle thinks things are like really fun ideas and then is also like, oh, hey, and then I'll be on the property to build. So I think that she saw it as like a win-win situation. Like it's going to be an adventure. Cool. Love it. And I will be able to be on my property overseeing all the building. It was a win-win for her. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. Hard to believe everyone was okay with Savannah to live there when she's a teenager. It seemed like Savannah had resigned herself to the fact that she was going to be living there. Like she had made her peace with it. And, but yeah, how could you not, Savannah is like 16 years old ish in this, when this is shot, how could you not be comparing your life to your siblings that live in a 6-bedroom house? How could you not? That your dad always wants to be at. It just is so, I feel so bad for Savannah. Let me scroll up because I'm missing comments. Probably over 100,000 when set up. Yeah, and we're starting to look at cars. It's time to get my husband a new car, and whoo, inflation. The price of everything has just gone up. So, that sounds about right. Good for Janelle. She's tired of waiting on these yahoos and now she's pulling the trigger on her own. Yeah. And I loved that in this episode, Janelle said, hey, I don't know if anyone's ever going to build out here. Like, I don't believe anyone anymore. So cool. Let me be out here by myself. I'll have a great view. I loved that. This is a good point. All of the fifth wheel stuff is sellable when she gets another place. And that is a beautiful fifth wheel trailer. I could see that being very easy to resell. I think she just wanted to get Cody's crap out of her house. Oop. Savannah moved out this past summer. Hashtag free Janelle. Janelle is so over it. It's very apparent now. And shoot, the famous saying of this episode is, gonna choose the kids, gonna choose the dogs. Never gonna choose Cody. Cody's never here. Housing is so tight in Flagstaff. I think it might have been out of necessity. That's what she said. I mean, Cody was like, oh, she looked for like 5 minutes, but she said that it's not like you have a ton of options. So and maybe she was already kind of leaning like this is what she wanted to do. Then she kind of probably didn't see anything that really she liked better. So yeah. Oh my goodness. I was just reading an article about her RV. They said 82,000. Wow. Fifth wheel was around 100,000. So expensive. We can just call it expensive. I was really disappointed in Robin's daughter's reaction to it. Are these beds for the dogs? that tube is more for your feet. So entitled and rude. Yeah, like I think Christine's attitude was maybe a little bit overzealous, but yes, be enthusiastic. Janelle has made this decision. The fifth wheel is here. There's no going back. Be excited. Help pump Savannah up. And yeah, I did notice that it's like, yeah, okay. We get it. You live in the McMansion. I think she just got the trailer to call Cody's bluff. Like, does he really plan on building on this property? And it was so interesting to me that Meri said that of all the people that she wasn't sure if they were still into the building on the property, that it was Cody she was most concerned about if that was still what they want to do. And as we see, Cody is like super dragging his feet about everything. How long did they know? They've had to know for forever that they had to have these properties paid off in order to, I don't know, realign them to how they want them zoned. And they've had 3 years to make progress on that, to do anything on that. So all of these meetings about who gets which lot, like when are we going to start building, all was for show. It was all just a smoke screen because Cody knew like this has to happen first. If this doesn't happen, nothing's going to happen the way they're talking about it happening. Okay. Another thing that I noticed that I wanted to talk about is Christine reiterates in this episode that she wants Cody to have a good relationship with all of her kids. She says this when they're talking about the joint custody or how many days he would have Truly. She's like, that's great. Truly's gonna love seeing Saul and Ari and being with all of her siblings. I want Cody to have a good relationship with all of my kids. And that I think is a really important for us to take note of because throughout this season, Cody and Robin, but especially Cody, has been dropping these innuendos that Christine is poisoning the children against him. Not only her kids, but Janelle's kids too. And I think it's really important to listen to Christine out of her own mouth say that she invited Cody to move Isabel. Did she do anything to stop Cody from moving Isabel? No. If anyone stopped Cody from helping move Isabel, it would be whoever is applying so much pressure to Cody that he feels like he can't be apart from Robin's household for more than 2 or 3 days at a time. Christine has set the bar so low for Cody regarding his relationship with Truly. She has, and Cody is still not meeting that bar. Brittany asks, any idea what they make from the show? So actually, I don't know if it's still like this, but supposedly a couple seasons back, the show was going to maybe be canceled. I think this was around season 15. And at that time, each adult was making about $100,000 a season. And then Cody negotiated to have all of them receive like around $100,000 for all 5 adults. So they took quite a pay cut to keep the show going. Now, usually from what I've seen with other reality TV shows, the stars of the show will usually make a percentage of the show's budget. And obviously, as a show rakes in more money, the budget for it goes up. So there is definitely a renewed fervor for this show. So it would make sense for them to be getting more money now, but I think they at least are splitting $100,000. Robin and Cody have a nanny basically full time. Yeah. Isabel was realistic about her distant relationship with Kay. Yeah, I am loving all of the kids' couch interviews this season. What did Tony say last episode? Like, what man is perfect enough to be able to uh have 4 wives or something like that? And it like gave me a chuckle. Uh, And yeah, Isabel is like, yeah, I'm gonna miss my mom more than my dad. And it's like, ooh, when Cody watches this back, which I'm sure he has to watch the show, because I just feel like if Cody truly is like a narcissist, he wouldn't be able to help himself watch something that's literally about himself. So that's going to be interesting when he sees that. And then I loved seeing Gwen. I love hearing from kids that we haven't seen in a couple seasons, like hear what they've been up to, hear their insights and their thoughts on their parents and the dynamics. It was so interesting to me. More Gwen interviews, yes. And I love that Christine was like, Gwen's humor is super inappropriate. And, it just seems like that house is full of laughter, full of love. And it just seems like Christine just appreciates her children. And that is as a mother myself, that's kind of the goal, like love your kids, be the type of parent that elicits love in return, and like just, fingers crossed that it all works out. They all hate the fifth wheel so much, but did anyone offer her a place to stay while trying to figure out an alternative? No. Now, when they all moved to Flagstaff, wasn't Christine needing a place to live, and Robin, I don't know, I'm sure it was a half-hearted gesture, said that she could live there, and Christine was like, no, because she didn't want to like intrude on anyone's space. But yeah, Meri has plenty of space for sure. That Savannah and Janelle, like 2 people, could definitely have stayed with Meri. From day one, the mistake the wives made was letting their middle-aged husband marry a 30-year-old. They were doomed in Lehigh, and they all allowed Robin to be part of the rotation before marriage. Robin was able to circumvent a lot of their self-imposed standards, like the kissing before marriage, being in a rotation as a wife before marriage. Then, nobody had like Janelle and Christine did not have like public celebrations of their marriage to Cody, nor did they have honeymoons. And they certainly didn't have a week and a half long honeymoon. So, yeah, the disparity between Robin's treatment and the rest of the wives has been there from the beginning. They should have, I guess I don't really know how this works because not a polygamy expert, but there should have been more hard and fast maybe rules when it came, because they had all been together for so long. Maybe they naively assumed it would be like how when Janelle came into the family or when Christine came into the family, but they're all around the same age. And yes, Robin is much younger. I don't know if they took that into consideration. The rude comments from Robin's daughters towards the trailer and Savannah's space in it were abhorrent and so, so rude. I think that a little bit of it could probably be chalked up to maybe just not being socially aware that that might have been a rude comment. So I'll give them a pass on that. But yeah, it wasn't nice, and there was definitely like a read the room vibe, like seriously? Like why would you say that? The chicken coop, thank you for the super chat. The rude comments from, oh, this is, I think I just read this. But anyways, thank you for the super chat. But yeah, they were not nice. And it just also indicative of probably how the fifth wheel is being talked about in Robin's house. Is like, it's tiny, barely enough room for dogs. Why would Cody want to stay there when he has this big, beautiful home to come home to, and a wife who reinforces his relationship with his children? So I think it's all very telling. Robin wears the pants, not Cody. Yes. She is definitely the neck that turns the head, as Ethan Plath would say. Janelle has checked out, so she knows she's next to be pushed out. Interesting. Cody, it's always been interesting to me, you guys. Cody always seems like Janelle can question him, challenge him, disagree with him. And she gets away with way more than Christine has been able to get away with over the years. And he still has respect for her. He still has a level of affection for her. So it kind of boggles my mind that he hasn't turned on her yet. Maybe it's because there's always been this level of we're more friends than lovers type vibe to their relationship, but it just seems like it's always been easy to be around Janelle for Cody. And he hasn't had that with, I don't think, any of the other wives, including Robin. I don't think his relationship with Robin is as easy and natural a friendship as he has with Janelle. Now, does that mean he wants to jump Janelle's bones? No, not necessarily. So, but yeah, Janelle, I think, seeing how her kids are treated, seeing how he's treating Christine's kids, seeing how he has treated Meri all these years, and now seeing the way he speaks about Christine, I think that Janelle could very well be the next one to get the ick. Christine offered Janelle. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Desi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yes, good call out. Christine offered Janelle her house. That is true. Robin's girls are just like their mother. I mean, when your mother is literally your friend, your mom, the only social interaction you have, it's not hard to see how that happened. Excuse me. I see the difference, but they were also in a much different financial position also. Yeah. Right, the Bronzed Empress. Did anyone else notice Robin's daughter's snooty attitude while checking out the bedroom? I'm gonna tell you guys, you guys are so eagle-eyed. You notice things. I guess I heard that, but it didn't really sink in the way you guys like really clocked that. I for sure noticed. The one thing I noticed was like, I cannot believe he messed up one of his kids' ages again. And both of the kids' ages he messed up happened to be Christine's kids. We can unpack that if we want. In the preview for the next episode, Cody had the nerve to tell Christine that if she sells her house, they could pay off Coyote Pass. I know. What world is he living on? He couched it, and I noticed this. This was clever of him. He didn't invoke Robin into the argument at all because I think he knew that would set Christine off. But he couched it in, if she were to sell her house, they could use the profits and pay off whatever property they needed to so Janelle could start building. Because Christine, you love Janelle, right? You don't want her living in that fifth wheel forever. That kind of, to me, is what he's getting at with that conversation. But I cannot wait to see that because we know what happens. We know Janelle or Christine sold her house. Cody got Christine's parcel or whatever, how her portion of Coyote Pass was divided. And Christine took the money from her house and moved to Utah. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out on the show. Janelle didn't like Cody's patriarchy comment. Yeah, I don't think, Janelle, if you think about it, when the show started, Janelle was couched as the breadwinner wife. She was the wife that went out and worked. She was the wife that was bringing home all the bacon. So to say that Janelle signed up for the patriarchy would indicate that Janelle has always been much more of an independent, kind of I could take it or leave it kind of wife, if you will. She was fine living away from the family for like 8 months or however long it was that when the rest of them moved, and she stayed at her job because Janelle has always had, Janelle's pragmatism has allowed Cody to be his impulsive dreamer self. He's been allowed to do that because he's had someone like Janelle keeping home base going. Without someone like Janelle, Cody would have been destitute a long time ago. I think Robin must speak very poorly about the other wives and kids. Yes. And I think that is reflected perfectly in the comments that Brianna and Aurora were making about the home. I really don't think that Aurora or Brianna meant it maliciously. I think that they were echoing things that they have heard spoken in their home. And I feel like they might not have the social awareness to know like what not to say, like what not to repeat of what your parents say, unless they like specifically tell you, do not repeat that. I wonder if Mitch and Tony would step up more now to be a father figure to Truly. I think both of them would do a better job. I do too. When Christine was describing Tony as a dad, honestly, it was like describing my husband as a dad. Like arguing over who gets to hold the baby. Like my husband was like beyond hands-on. He is like, I mean, he's with my daughter right now. They are like the best of friends. So I think Tony, Mitch, Caleb, all of them are showing better being a good spouse would be, like a role model of a spouse, what to look for in a partner, what being a good father would be, what being a present father would be. Everybody messes up as a parent. There is no such thing as a perfect parent, but a good chunk of parenting is just showing up, and Cody can't even do that. It's so basic, and he can't even do that. Look at Hunter going to see Isabel when she had the surgery. I have noticed throughout all the social media posts, Hunter is everywhere. He took, or I don't know who took who out to dinner, but him and Christine went out to dinner. He was there for Isabel's recovery. He takes time out of his life to invest in his family. And let us just quickly shout out and wish congratulations. I think Logan is getting married like right now. Maybe not right now, but like it's happening. It's happening. So congratulations to him. And all of these kids are growing up. They're thriving. They're becoming their own people in spite of Cody. Because of their moms, in spite of Cody. Hashtag girl dads rule. Yes, they do. They really, really do. Christine needs to raise her own child and not expect her grown children to raise the younger ones or to fill a void. Yes. Now, yes, 100%. I do not love, I've spoken about this before in past videos. I don't love the kids being parentified. Logan was parentified. Aspen was parentified. I'm sure that Brianna was parentified to, or not Brianna, Aurora was parentified in Robin's house, even with a nanny. I think that probably happened. So yes, you should never expect your children to parent, but when there is big age gaps between siblings, so for example, Aspen's in her 20s, Truly's 12, you Truly will naturally look up to her older siblings, and to see good role models is admirable and a good thing. But yeah, absolutely no. The older children should not be expected to raise their younger siblings. It happens, but it's not right by any means. Getting bored with the dragging storyline about the divorce, like the only thing going on. I mean, if we've learned anything from Catfish Gate, it's gonna last a few seasons. But that doesn't mean that there won't be interesting ancillary storylines that come from it, like hilarious couch interviews from Tony, or other things. Like there are ways they can spice it up. It's been what, we're on episode 6, and it's definitely the focal point of the show this season. But I hope that they figure out that there are ways to keep it spicy for viewers. Janelle doesn't need Cody for anything, so why not leave? Then she wouldn't always have to deal with Cody and Robin and everything she does. I mean, just from watching this last week, Janelle really wants to live on Coyote Pass. I think she was like, once she bought into this idea, she bought into it. And I think that, her kids are kind of all over, right? She has North Carolina, Utah, like her kids are kind of all over the place. So she's going to be traveling no matter what. So why not live where she wants to live? And if she wants to build on Coyote Pass, I think she absolutely should be the only one who ends up building. And then she can just have this massive view because nobody else gets their shit together. I would love to see that. I'm just waiting for the knife in the kidney scene. My husband reenacts, it's like a knife in the kidney all the time. Every time I'm watching Sister Wives, he will just walk by me and go, it's like a knife in the kidneys. And I'm like, LOL. Because yeah, when is that going to be the season finale? I feel like it's going to be the season finale. But what is going to set Cody off to say that? Because Christine has laid all of her, like, what else could Christine possibly surprise him with that he would say that? I don't know. The thing that got me is that Cody won't babysit his own kids. Fathers don't babysit their own children. Agreed. No parent, it's not called babysitting if that kid is your kid. You're just being a parent. But yeah, Cody, but Cody even said, why would I, their dad, watch them when I'm making $200 an hour and I could pay someone $20 an hour to do that kind of stuff? It's like, are you serious, dude? It's hard to watch knowing these were taped over a year ago. I agree. They need to close the gap. I want to see real time what's really happening now. Gwen teased us that she was thinking of starting a YouTube channel. I really hope she does. I really hope she does. When Christine would give him money from oh my God. The fact that he had the gumption to suggest that, and then to say, here, but you know what? Have your pick of this probably 5-year-old expired food storage that we have. Cody has the audacity. Cody has all of the audacity. Janelle is using Christine's departure to force Cody's hand and make him admit that they have no money to develop Coyote Pass. Agreed. Yes. Hard agree there. Hard agree. Need a spinoff with Janelle and Christine's kids, my two moms. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I noticed, what is the category on Discovery Plus that's sister? It's called like Crazy in Love. It's where like 90 Day Fiance is, but then it's like Seeking Sister Wife and Sister Wives. And I'm like, that's quite the way to label these shows. But yeah, like maybe like Unconventional Families or something, because I would absolutely watch like 50 and Thriving, Christine and Janelle, something like that. Would love to see it. I like to think Christine not giving him the money from the house will set him. Oh, yes. That is a good guess. I think Cody would surround Janelle with a bunch of rental homes. Yep. Let me read that again. I think Cody would surround Janelle with a bunch of rental homes. So much for the view. Yep. Because Cody he has the audacity. Like, oh, we're not going to live there because, again, I got my McMansion. But yeah, I'll put maybe some tiny little like cheap pop-up houses up there, some she sheds or something, and rent them out, Airbnb, just to annoy people that definitely won't let Janelle access the pond. The babysitting of the kids triggers me so bad. I think anybody, like, if you were a kid, if you know a kid, if you have a kid, and you ever hear one of their parents speak about them as like, I'm watching my kids tonight, or I'm babysitting my kids, it's like, dude, fuck you. Sorry, language, but for real. Janelle is going to really start missing Christine because they are the only two wives that really get along, have a lot of fun doing their own thing away from the family. We see Sonia on their Instagram, on their social media, that they are together quite frequently. And it seems that Janelle has very solidly aligned herself with Christine. And I love to see it. All of her kids have as well. It is a very satisfying to not only, well, first and foremost, it's satisfying to see such healthy bonds between these siblings, but and their affection and love for Janelle and Christine as moms. But it's also just so satisfying to see them basically flip a middle finger to Cody. Is it true that Robin drinks? Oh, I heard that is why she sleeps until noon. Being married to Cody would drive any woman to drink. I have not seen that, and I have not ever wondered if Robin was under the influence in any of her. Well, I really have only seen her on the show. We don't really see her. I haven't seen a cameo of her or anything like that. I mean, if we want to talk about people drinking in cameos, Darcy of Darcy and Stacy. But I don't know if she drinks. We've seen Meri, or not Meri. It has been rumored that Meri drinks, and I could see that. But yeah, I think being married to Cody would drive any woman to drink. I think it would be very stressful to be married to Cody under the best circumstances. To be like the Janelle who just kind of lets Cody be Cody and just kind of exists. Like, you kind of disassociate from that. But Robin constantly having to like shift her values because what she has to constantly strive to be the picture of perfection for whatever Cody is imagining perfection to be at that time. That has to be exhausting. And if she did develop some sort of self-medicating coping mechanisms, I would not be surprised. But I don't know. I have never personally, I have never watched Robin and thought that, where there's been other reality TV personalities that I watch and go, are they sober? I don't know. But I can only imagine the amount of stress that Robin is under at all times. The knife in the kidney is when Christine confesses to letting the divorce slip to Truly. That I could see that. In Christine's defense there, it's like she was begging him to tell Truly. And it's like, okay, Christine, if you were, really trying to make sure that it didn't slip, maybe you could have taken that phone call outside or something. But it really was only a matter of time. If every single other person in the family knew, including a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Let's take a couple more questions for the night. What does Christine do all day? Raise 6 children alone, apparently. More like raise, what was she watching at the time? Like 12, 13 kids? Yeah. Oh, what did Cody say? What does she do all day? It's not cooking and cleaning. What is that supposed to mean? I would still like to circle back to that because Christine's house doesn't look particularly unkept to me. It looks fine. It looks like a normal house. So, what is he trying to say? It does not look any more dirty than the times we have seen inside Robin's home. Remember when Robin didn't want to buy a home and Cody did? Yes, that was tense between Robin and Cody. That was like for real tension. And probably the most opposed we have ever seen those two. That was quite interesting. Every time I think Cody is starting to realize the consequences of his actions, I remember he still has the knife in the kidney scene coming to ruin that. Yeah, and so Cody and Robin in these couch interviews that we're getting, this is PR damage control that they're running. They know how bad the backlash was from seasons like 15 and 16, how people are heavily criticizing them for the decisions that they've made. And they are running big time damage control in these couch interviews. And to some extent, I think sometimes like when he got choked up that Isabel was moving, that got me. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, oh, maybe he does have a heart. And then I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming, that Christine said, you are more than welcome to help us move. She extended that invitation, and I knew Cody was going to come up with some reason why he couldn't go. So yeah, it's like every time you think that Cody, there's a good guy hidden way deep down in there, and then he does something to remind you just how self-involved he really is. I do think Cody loves his kids, but he sees his kids as a reflection of himself. So if he doesn't like that what's reflecting back at him, he discards it. So he has kept Robin's kids around because they are reflecting what he likes to see. And all of these other kids that he has problems with, it's because they're like, you know what? No. Like you're like not like we love you, you're our dad, but we have fundamental opposing views on how this should be handled. For example, COVID. And Cody's like, no, thou shalt not question me. And they do. And then it's a problem. What do you think will come first? Knife in the kidney or Robin's single tear of this season? I don't know. So many dry tears from Robin. It's going to be satisfying to see a real one fall. Or it'll just be like, I don't know. Robin will be like, you see real tears, real tears. I kind of feel like the knife in the kidney is gonna be the season finale. For some reason, I just feel like that is going to be like the oh, everything left on a bad note. And then we'll get like, I don't know, 4 episodes of a tell-all or something. So we shall see. Let's take this Cody and Robin bougie life. I mean, they kind of have it made, right? Like, they have to be living off of the other wives' money in some capacity. I don't know if the wives are paying off the Coyote Pass mortgages so they can funnel all of their money into Robin's house or what, but they are benefiting so greatly from all the other wives' financial success. It is quite something. Why does he refer to his kids as Christine's kids or Janelle's kids? Personally, I think that started as a way to distinguish which set of kids he was talking about. But now it just comes off as a way to actually distance himself as being a culpable parent. Like, if these are Christine's kids and Christine's kids are having problems with X, Y, and Z, or if they're questioning my authority, that's because they're Christine's kids and he can kind of escape culpability there. I would watch the kids watch the show and spill the tea. That is the pillow talk I am trying to manifest. Let's manifest that. $200 an hour at gun shows. Aren't his cameos like $100 a pop? So between whoever is buying their cameos, whoever is buying his cameos are really doing the Lord's work, because that is quite a financial sacrifice. And I do appreciate the ones that end up on Reddit. I am baffled by paying that much money for a Cody Brown video, but I do appreciate the people that have bought them, because we have learned a lot. So I don't know if he is coupling that with all of his business ventures. He makes $200 an hour, but it seemed him being so dismissive of childcare, or like the value of childcare, or the value of a child being parented by their parent instead of, if at all possible, because sometimes it's not always possible. Sometimes, if you're a surgeon, you might have to hire a nanny. Your kid is probably going to daycare, something like that, because you're like doing the Lord's work, like you're a surgeon. But Cody, if you're in your home, and again, if you have the money, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. Have a nanny if you can afford it. I don't give a shit. But don't shit on, like, I could pay someone $20 to do that because I make $200 an hour. That just seems so condescending. I just don't like it. I also loved how they grazed over Gwen's sexuality is amazing, because that really isn't that much of a big deal. And I think that was probably, at least I hope, that was Gwen's probably the way that she wanted to, I don't know, talk about it on the show. It's been something that the viewers have known, because Gwen has included fans in her life and her journey through her social media, so people have known that. And I guess it was an interesting choice for it to kind of just be like an aside, like, oh yeah, I'm bisexual, rather than like the focal point of the whole episode. They mentioned that on the Surviving Sister Wives podcast too, like how it was just kind of a passing comment, and it was and it was just a passing comment in the regards of Gwen and Isabel talking about how close of a relationship they had and how much they were going to miss each other. So, and I found that to be much more of a sentimental, like, thing we wanted to know, was that they have such a close bond, that Christine's kids are so closely bonded together. Talk, Gwendolyn, talk. I am here for that. Manifesting kids on like a kids pillow talk for the show. And then any of the kids, if Gwen wants to start a YouTube channel and spill the tea, please spill the tea. I hope we see much more of Mykelti, Isabel. We got a lot of like Gabriel and Garrison last season because, of course, that was like where the tension was. But I am loving seeing the daughters, especially because, especially let's ask like Gwen, Mykelti, Isabel, what did you think about that patriarchy comment your father made? What did you think about how he thinks he's given your moms too much freedom? I want the scoop. All right, you guys, let's do one more. Here, this is what we'll end on because my husband will appreciate. The Bruins scored. Sorry, Sarah, playing the Panthers. That is a good way to wrap up. $200. He is over $250,000 a year. Yeah, sure, Cody. I mean, I'm not going to begrudge anyone make. I heard like Big Ed makes like $400,000 or something a year on Cameo. I don't like Big Ed. I'm actually going to be making a video about him this week, but damn. Far be it for me to begrudge anyone making a living. That is quite a nice chunk of change. Let's scroll down. Let me catch up here. Oh man, I missed quite a bit. Thank you, Lee, for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know if these are super chats or super stickers, but thank you. Thank you. That's because it doesn't matter. Love is love. I agree. And that should be what we wrap up on here. I am so glad that Christine has nurtured such an inclusive environment where her kids feel that they can be authentically themselves. That is absolutely my goal as a parent as well, is to let my daughter be whoever she is, whoever she grows into, to just be that authentically 100%. I'm so happy to see how Meri and Leon's relationship has evolved and they have patched things up over the years. It's really, I think one of the reasons why I stay watching the show and why I'm still so invested in the show is because I love seeing the kids' relationships with their moms and with each other. They seem to have built such a strong support system, and that is so commendable. So with that being said, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a good rest of your evening. I will see you tomorrow for a new video. And yeah, take care. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.